So I want to, from everybody, I want to hear which teams you think are going to make the East and West Conference Finals, and maybe a sleeper team that you might take as a bet to go that far in the playoffs. Gerard, I'm going to start with you first on this one because I think it's pretty predictable with someone like Brian, where we know he's definitely going to pick the Heat to go to the conference finals. So I said, let's start with you and see what you got here. Who do you have in the conference finals, and why do you like their odds?
Let's start in the West first, and I am going to go with the Lakers and the Clippers. We actually finally get that matchup we were supposed to get last season after the Clippers blew that 3-1 lead. Look, I just think that they are the two best teams in the Western Conference. Look, at the end of the day in this league, talent wins out, and they're just better, man. Like I don't know what else to tell people. And they are, if you look at it, they are the two favorites, right? Coming out of the Western Conference, according to most of the odds sites. Yes, there's Denver. Yes, there's the Mavericks and Golden State and Utah and all these. I mean, Portland. People don't love Portland as much, Brian, and you know why. I'll get to that another time, but I just think that when the chips are ultimately down, how many players on your team do you have that can get and create their own shot, and can you get stops? And I think the Clippers and Lakers can do that. So I like both of them to get back. I think, again, the Clippers learned from last year. That 3-1 losing it to Denver, that's going to fortify them as a group, come back a little bit stronger this year. In the East, this was a tough one, man. I've been wrestling with this one for freaking weeks. Brian, the Miami Heat are definitely going back to the conference finals. I just, I think while I'm concerned, as I mentioned, the over-unders about the quick turnaround time for them, which is why I didn't go hard on the over for them. I think they will sort of ramp themselves up as the season goes on, and then come playoffs, it's going to bust everybody's ass because they're just really good at all that. And I'm going to say the Brooklyn Nets make the conference finals.
Wow.
I just think that, that team offensively has so much, and I love their depth. If they don't make any moves, and again, this is all barring no injuries, no COVID, all that, that's what I like. And that's actually, what are they, plus 400, the Nets to make the conference finals, I believe. So, I think that's a pretty good value there. So
actually, Gerard, you've got BetMGM has the Nets at plus 250, points bet at plus 275. DraftKings also at plus 275. Miami Heat, who you picked, BetMGM has them at 800. That's pretty the same for PointsBet, and then FanDuel and DraftKings have them at 600 and 650. So some good value there with Miami.
Good value.
Speaking of Miami, you know who we're going to go to next. Brian, do you have the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I mean,
just say yes, man. All you got to do is say yes. You just got to say yes.
Do flies land on shit? Yes, absolutely. Like, I'm taking the Heat to go to the conference finals, and perhaps even further. I hope that my webcam will stop acting up here, so let me fix that while I'm talking. But yeah, the Miami Heat, I have them going to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I have joining them. I thought about this a lot, to Gerard's point. Now, the thing with the Nets is that I need to see it sustainable for a certain period of time, because they can look good right now being fresh off the injuries and things of that nature, and it's still early, but like, is Kevin Durant's Achilles going to be sore in March? Is Kyrie Irving going to tweak his knee again in February? Like, these are the things that I'm sort of looking out for as the season goes on. And them being plus 250, I think you said, Dex, right? That isn't high. That isn't good enough value for me to put money on them. So I would go ahead and actually take, going to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Milwaukee Bucks for now, even though, you know, what Miami's done to the Milwaukee Bucks in the past. I think if they could avoid that second round matchup, then yes, I feel good about them moving on and going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I like to do holiday pickups. So
what's the value? What's the value on the Bucks? What are they?
What is the value?
Let's look at the Bucks. The Bucks are the favorite for the Eastern Conference.
Not much value.
But what I'm saying is I feel more confident about the Bucks actually pulling it off than Brooklyn having too many variables and things of that nature. Boston is a team that I was really looking at to be my dark horse, but you know, I'd rather just be safe and go with the Bucks there. But I'm going to get money with the Heat, baby, because they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. So we good. You know what I mean? And then in the West, it's Lakers, Portland for me. I'm gonna get the Blazers there because that's where I'm gonna get my value. I know the Lakers are the favorite. The Lakers are the only team, by the way, in the NBA for me that they have to be a lock to get to the Final Four in this situation. So I'm going with the Lakers and Blazers along with the Heat versus the Bucks for now.
Well, the Blazers definitely good value, plus 2,200 with MGM. You want even better value? Look at FanDuel, plus 2,800 for the Blazers. So, all right, good picks there. Murph, who do you have in both the conferences?
Eastern Conference. I like Miami also. I gotta keep it real. They were anything but a fluke last year, and I think they'll be better. This year they have. I feel like they have a little bit more depth. And I think it'll be a rematch of what we saw in the bubble on the eastern side. I think Boston will get back in there. I'm counting on Kemba coming back strong with that foreign injection in his knee, make it stronger. And I think Boston, they have that experience. And Tate, as I said before, Tatum and Brown will be better this year, and they're already all-star caliber as in any event. So I like Miami, Boston. As in terms of a sleepers in the East, well, Boston is plus 650 at least, and then you have the 76ers, who I wouldn't be surprised either if they were able to put it together and get there, and they're plus 900, I think, to win the Eastern Conference. So I think that would be a nice sleeper pick, and then also the Heat already, who I have, are plus 800. So that's where I'm going in the East. In the West, I like the Lakers and Clippers also. I think I agree totally, even with the narrative that, everybody expected it last year. This is the year that we'll really get Lakers, Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. As far as long shots, I think Denver at plus 1,000 to win the West would be a great great value pick. The Mavs plus 1,400, and really anybody's a value besides the Lakers. So the Clippers at plus 360 is pretty good also.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. In the West, I have Lakers, Clippers in the West, but I do agree that anybody is a great value there. Other than the Lakers, Clippers, I think taking a team like Denver is another good long shot. I also don't think Brian's crazy looking at Portland and the value you can get with them to win the conference. But the Lakers and Clippers are my picks. In the East, I'm going with Miami, and I'm going with the Bucks. If I had to bet in terms of what I think is the safest bet and pick for that, that's what I'm going to go with. But here's the thing: I don't necessarily trust the Bucks that much. I'm a little bit concerned with things with the Bucks. So I might want to go with a little bit of a dark horse. I think things could get a little upset this year in the Eastern Conference. I like the Sixers sitting at, you got them anywhere from plus 900 as high as that, plus 700 as well too. FanDuel has them at that. I like the Sixers if what we think can happen with them, where they've got the good shooting around their two centerpieces and they start to put it together towards the end of the season. So I think when you look at this is something you want to look at. Obviously, we're going to be talking about future bets on the show, but throughout the season and kind of see which teams are starting to play their best ball at the end of the seasons. All right, guys, so we got our conference winners. Who do we have winning it all to win the NBA championship? Very interesting odds on that. The favorite right now across the board is the Lakers. Are the Lakers repeating, guys? Brian, I'll start with you first.
Yeah, I can't really bet against the Lakers here, but I'm going to do it because we're doing a fucking show, and I think that the Miami Heat could actually win the NBA Finals this year because they almost did it last year, and I think they're a little bit better this year. So I'm just going to pick the Heat and make everybody happy, you know what I'm saying, because I think we're probably going to get Lakers across the board. I don't know. Gerard might pick the Clippers. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. Actually, you might take the Nets, so that's another story. But I'm gonna roll with the Miami Heat defiantly in a season where Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are expected to win all 72 of their games, according to Nets fans on Twitter. According to Nets fans on Twitter who believe that they can do nothing wrong. So I'm just going to go with the Heat against the Lakers in the finals.
So, Brian, according to your pick, you can get great value with the Heat. They're at plus 2,000. Points bet has them set as that. So there's some really good value if you're looking to take the Heat as your
solidifying, by the way, that Jimmy Butler is better than James Harden. I just want to put that out there.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well,
that is a bold.
You made me look at where the Rockets were on that, and they are anywhere between plus 5,000 and then plus 8,000.
The longest of long shots.
Yeah, the long shot. So if you really want want to get good value, maybe take the Rockets, but I wouldn't trust that situation. Murph, who do you got winning the whole thing?
Oh boy.
Who would you pick? I should say?
I hope this doesn't happen, but I'm going to pick the Lakers. I'm going to root against them, but I'm going to pick. I think they're just the safest bet to do it again, to get LeBron another ring. I think they'll face Boston. I think Boston will get there, but if I have to put money on it at this point, I got to go with the Lakers. I do think the Clippers. I'm kind of pulling for the Clippers to be able to knock them off, but that point guard situation for the Clippers is still shaky, and I think that really hurt them last season. So I just got I got to just grin and bear it and go with the Lakers.
All right, Lakers are the favorite, plus 275 pretty much across the board, as you can see. Most sites points bet, you can get them at 250. Gerard, we know you were Team Clippers. Well, the audience doesn't know, but we know you were Team Clippers last year. And they fell short, 3-1 lead. Your boy PG-13.
Okay, why you got to be my boy though?
It's your boy, and he got shots going off the side of the backboard. You don't want to miss with your picks. We don't want to tell people to miss with the picks as badly as Paul George's shooting was in the Western Conference semifinals. We want people to get things right here. Who do you have winning the title this year?
Look, if you want to make some money or be as close to potentially making money, take the Lakers, right? Because it's still 2-1, so plus 275, you still get decent odds. You'll make some money, right? However, if you look at these next couple teams I'm thinking of, you got good value. The Clippers are plus 600. I love them at plus 600, right? Like that's just excellent value. And do I think that they're talented enough? Yes. But do things have to fall right for them? Yes. Boston, you know how I feel about that. Plus 1,400. I mean, that's woo. Brian, at plus 18. Okay. Yeah, the other team I'm going to say. I don't think it'll happen. But if you want value, again, at that plus 600, the Brooklyn Nets are at plus 600. That's all I'm going to say. But if you want money, Lakers, I like the Clippers at plus 6.
Yeah. So Gerard, I'm with you on this. You want the safe bet, you got to take the Lakers. I see the Lakers repeating. But could I see the Clippers upsetting them in the Western Conference Finals? Sure. Definitely could see it, especially if they fix their point guard situation, which would make me feel a little bit better about that. Take them there, but they are great value at plus 650. I trust the Clippers more than I would the Nets.
Sure.
I think that situation's shaky for a lot of reasons, with Kyrie and KD, and I think Brian would agree with me on that one. But good value, interesting odds in terms of picking the teams. Clippers are great. You can't go wrong with the Clippers there, man. I think that's a really good pick if you're looking for value. Okay, we're going to go through some things really quickly.